안녕하세요, Srinida. Here I was back to do another review, but this time it's of a book and an actual manga. And it's actually my first 5-star read this year, which I'm gonna be honest, going into it, I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. But it's called Colorado K-9 Rescue by Kathleen Donnelly. And before you start tripping, yes, this is a Harlequin romance. However, there's a suspense aspect to this one that I think makes it stand out from the stereotypical Harlequin romances that we hear about. But this follows a young woman named McKenna who joined the FBI as a victim specialist, primarily focusing on helping victims recover from traumatic things, and her dog Mocha is a therapy dog. He was also assigned to her because years prior to the event of this, she had been abducted and was kidnapped and needed a therapy dog to even confront her attacker in court. Like, it was that bad. But at the start of this, he makes parole, and of course she's like wigging, which can't say I blame her. So she's doing everything she can to make sure she stays protected. But then out of nowhere, in the same area she got abducted, 2 more girls disappear. So she's conflicted because she's like, okay, I want to help these girls because I know how they feel. I know what it feels like to be in that situation. And she just wants to help, and also consoles the families. And one of the fathers points to her and says, hey, weren't you abducted in the same area such and such years ago? And her partner, who is very job driven, he wants to move up in the corporal ladder in the FBI. When the father mentions that, he looks at her and tilts his head like, you didn't tell me about this. And McKenna just looks at her partner, Evan, gives him a glare, but then looks to the dad and says, yes, I was, and if I can get out, they can get out. Trying to console the father, because she doesn't want to be like, it's a lost cause type of thing. She wants to give him hope. She doesn't want him to be downtrodden and sad about everything, which, like I said, really respect that about McKenna. I love Mocha. Mocha's a trip. Mocha was originally trained to be a drug dog, but failed. The only time Mocha would find anything is as if McKenna was nearby, because then he would find McKenna. And Mocha actually was a drug dog for her sister. Her name is escaping me. Is it Cassidy? Let's see. Pretty sure it was Lily. Or not, no, sorry, pretty sure it was Cassidy. Lily's a different character. Let's see. Yeah, it is Cassidy, I was right. Okay. So her sister Cassidy is also part of the FBI, but she deals with like the drug aspect. Searching, luggage with trained dogs for any like narcotics or anything like that, and make sure it doesn't get in the country. And also for people that might be trying to sell it on the street. So, and Mocha was originally trained for that. However, like I said, they would put, say, 4 boxes out for Mocha to test, and every time he always would point at the one that had McKenna's scent, whether it be like a scarf, a shoe, I don't know, socks, gloves, anything like that, because they do live in Oregon, I'm pretty sure. Is it Oregon? Pretty sure it's Oregon. I could be wrong though. But pretty sure it's Oregon. Because it doesn't say on the back. But I really do recommend this. Even if you're someone that is hesitant on the Harlequin romance aspect, because believe me, I was that way as well. But when I read the back and saw that it was a romance and suspense one, I was like, okay, I'll give this one a shot. I'm glad I did. This is another one of those cases of like, don't judge a book by its cover, because this was insanely good. Like, this is one of the few books that I plan to keep to reread, because I don't keep many regular books to reread. I have a manga collection that I need to do a video on at some point, but I have to get it organized like I want first, and that's a whole thing entirely, because I need to get new bookshelves and all that. But I do remember Cassidy saying, "Why didn't you go to his parole hearing?" And she just looked at her and went, "I don't want to face him again. I really don't." Which, valid. But I can also see where Cassidy's coming from and saying, you know, if you had been there, maybe the judge wouldn't have granted him bail. If she saw how scared you were still of this man, she would not put him out on bail. Which, yes, is also valid. But if Cassidy, I think he went in prison for like 7 years. If she's still feeling like, 7 years later, I wouldn't push it, personally. But that's just me. I don't like getting pushed in uncomfortable situations. And this is definitely a very uncomfortable situation. But, like I said, insanely good suspense book. I did like the romance in it. It wasn't like shoved down your throat either, which I appreciate. And I also love Mocha in this book. I want to just like hug his neck. He's such a sweet dog. When they're trying to get one of the victims to talk about what happened, he literally jumps in her hospital bed, curls up next to her, and starts licking her face to try to get her to talk. And I'm just like, oh my god, so sweet. I'm just like, I cannot believe that dog is so freaking cute. It is so sweet. So yeah, don't knock the fact that it's a Harlequin whatsoever, because I was kind of iffy in the beginning, but then like I said, I read the back and then I ended up really enjoying it, and it was a 5-star read for me. My first one of the year, and it's June, which is saying something. So yeah, definitely would recommend this. That is going to be it for this review video, you guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Let me know down below if you've read the book, or if you're perhaps interested in reading the book, because I'm curious to know. I know I've had a lot of Breath of the Wild go up recently, but that's just because it's been something that's been easy for me to record. But I'm hoping to put these review videos like in between episodes of Breath of the Wild, so it's not like back to back like the last 3 at the time of me recording has been. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, let me know your thoughts, whether if you've read it or are curious enough to read it yourself. I will talk to you guys soon. Another video, another time. Bye, roses. Annyeong.